fantastic conversation as always. I love the fact that these conversations mean something to me, and they were going to mean something to me whether or not they meant anything to anybody else. And now y'all get excited for Thursday. You love it. As soon as PJ and I come on, people send us messages. So I just want to say thank you. And PJ, I want to thank you because without you, this wouldn't have been possible. You had to say yes to me. Well, you didn't have to, but you did. And it's just created a lot of great conversation. And now you got a lot of fans, PJ. I hope you know that. You got some fans out there.
Well, we're going to double up. We're going to double up starting, the 29th?
Yeah, August 29th. You want to tell everybody the news?
Absolutely. Tell them the news.
So PJ and I on August 29th are going to be going back to our 2 hours on Thursday, the PJ Takeover as we call it. And because it's a morning show, we could also call it, Morning in Your PJs, because Papa Joe's going to be with us 2 hours on Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So instead of 10 to 11, he's going to join us for the entire broadcast from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's going to be starting on August 29th. So a couple weeks from today, exactly 2 weeks from today, PJ will go to 2 hours. That is because baseball is continuing on. Football is going to be starting up. And the following week is going to be the first week of the regular season for the NFL. And, of course, college football is going to be starting at the end of August as well. Syracuse's first game is August 31st. So a lot of stuff going on and too much to pack into 1 hour. So Papa Joe is going to be joining me for both hours of the PJ Takeover. Thursdays with PJ are going to be starting on August 29th. So make a note of it that Papa Joe will be with us the whole way through. PJ, we got some thoughts on the Jaguars. You and I talked about putting together this 53-man roster. The teams have to get their rosters down to 53 here in the not-too-distant future. That is what they can carry on their active roster. So I'd love to get your thoughts on it. We're going to do offense, defense, and special teams. You'll do offense, then I will. You'll do defense, then me. And then you'll do special teams and back to me. So we're going to break it down together piece by piece, and I'm going to set you loose on the offense on who you think the depth chart is going to have.
Yeah, the Jaguars look very good against Kansas City.
Yeah.
I watched a lot and got some info. Wondered with the play of Beathard, I think he's a trade candidate for teams that are looking for a good, solid quarterback. Now, Minnesota's in trouble because their first-round draft pick hurt his knee. Now he's out for the whole year. So the other teams are going to be looking for something. And I think he's available. I think he's worth it. Also, Deshaun Gibson. I don't know why they brought him back, but he's a solid defender. I don't know why I brought him back, but he's going to be one of my 53-man rosters. I can start with offense if you want, or you start with offense.
Yeah, you could start with your offense, and then I'll go.
All right. Well, it's quite obvious the two quarterbacks we're going to carry are Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. Now, you know what? Mac Jones is an odd bird. He's a very funny, likable guy. I don't know how we wound up playing from Nick Saban, but he's a jokester. He plays loose. He has fun, and sometimes when you have a real veteran team like that, it doesn't go over too good. But it seems to be going over good with the Jaguars. They seem to like him. And with Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, we're not going to be hurting the quarterback at all. For running backs, I got 4. I got Travis Etienne, of course. Mm-hmm. Tank Bigsby, yes. Dearness Johnson and Jalen Jackson. That's all I could come up with. I think maybe a couple draft picks may be able to get in there, but having four running backs, I think, is enough. Wide receivers, I got 6. I got Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr. Those are no-brainers. Devin Dvorak has really made his mark during the spring. He is good, really, really good. Parker Washington, Elijah Cooks. So I'm looking for Brian Thomas to start in the slot, being 6'3", He's going to be carrying a lot of those balls over the middle and get some good yardage. Christian Kirk on the outside, Gabe Davis on the outside, Brian Thomas on the slot. Geez, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. And DeBournay backing him up. Okay, offensive lineman. Oh, you got Cam Robinson, who I think they should have traded. I think they should still trade. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's my opinion. Walker Little, I like him from Stanford. Devon Foster, Ezra Cleveland, Blake Hance, Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff is good. Anton Harrison, really good. Cooper Hodges. The only problem I have with these guys is Mitch Morse did not play a good game against Kansas City. And they had an inter-squad game with someone, the Eagles or someone like that, the Tampa, and he didn't look good there at all. For some reason, he's not grasping the offensive blocking assignments. I mean, he's a stud, but for some reason, it's not working for him. Tight ends, I got 4. I got Evan Ingram, of course, Brenton Strange, Josiah Dugara, and Luke Farrell. I like Luke Farrell and the backup Evan Ingram. I think he's proved his worth over the last 3 or 4 years. I think he's tough. I don't know if they're going to carry 4 tight ends. Because of their emphasis on a running game, they probably will carry 4. That's it for the offense, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, on the offensive side, for me, I'm going to take a look at this and say, going off of what you said, PJ, as Papa Joe and I are breaking down the Jacksonville Jaguars depth charts and have talked about the Jaguars together for many years. I've covered the Jaguars and spoken about the Jaguars since 2009. That would be a calendar 15 years for those of you playing the home game that don't have basic math. But when we look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and look at the situation with Jacksonville, we have Trevor Lawrence. I got him at quarterback. I got Mac Jones behind him. You can carry 3 quarterbacks, and there is that rule on game day of having that extra quarterback. So I'd imagine C.J. Beathard is going to be there. So that gives us 3. Travis Etienne Jr., Tank Bigsby, and Dearness Johnson. We're all Travis is in his 4th season. It's his 3rd season on the field. As his first season, he was injured and was unable to play in his rookie season. So it kind of felt like he was a rookie in his 2nd year. Travis Etienne is in his 4th year. They did pick up his 5th-year option. They have some time in figuring out his contract. I would imagine they're going to do it by mid-year if they're going to do it. Tank Bigsby's coming off of his rookie season, so he's under his rookie contract. Doesn't cost that much to the team. Dearness Johnson signed to extend with the Jaguars. Jalen Jackson, that's going to be an interesting one. They brought in Keelan Robinson, and Keelan Robinson is currently questionable to play in Week 1. He has a toe injury, but I would imagine he's going to stick around on this team. Well, we shall see. So they might carry 5 running backs, or they may carry 4. If they carry 4, then I would drop off Jalen Jackson. Christian Kirk, they're going to be, they got Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr. I imagine they're going to keep Parker Washington and Elijah Cooks, who have some history with the team. Devin Duvernay was brought in to be a kick returner, punt returner, and helped them out offensively. Tim Jones could be another guy to look at, but there's a long list of receivers that I think through training camp are going to try and make the team, and if not, make the team, make the practice squad. Those names are Tim Jones, Seth Williams, Brevin Easton, Josh Cephas, who I covered at UTSA, Austin Trammell, as well as Denzel Mims, who was a rookie for the Jets back in the day, and Joseph Skates. If I had to pick, I'd say Kirk, Davis, Thomas Jr., Washington, Duvernay, Cooks. I would feel safe with those 5 guys, 6 guys being on the team there for the 53-man roster. As far as tight end goes, I have Evan Engram, Luke Farrell, and Brenton Strange. I'm going to put 3 on their 53-man roster. They drafted Luke Farrell. They drafted Brenton Strange last year. I think these guys have done enough to kind of hang here. Evan Engram's a 1,000-yard tight end. I was behind Evan Engram, believing in him when he was a rookie, came to the Giants. He dropped off. A lot of people, I think, kind of got quiet about him, and I've kept him in my radar. And I continue to keep him in my radar here as I think that he is going to be a valuable asset to Trevor Lawrence. As you've seen, that Trevor not only goes to him, Trevor goes to him in crunch time situations, late in games where they're trying to win this game, trying to keep the lead, or trying to gain the lead before the end of the game. We have seen on numerous occasions him going after Evan Engram and reaching out to him and trusting in him down the field. As far as offensive line goes, Cam Robinson's been hurt. Cam Robinson got suspended last year, but they've put a lot of money into him, and he is the guy that they've had at left tackle for a while. I'm interested to see if they can move him, if they're going to move him. I've talked to him for many years. I appreciate what he did at Alabama, appreciate the work he's done in Jacksonville. It's just about consistency, and it's about, him being healthy on the field. Jacksonville's one of probably their biggest Achilles heel in the time that I've covered them. And once again, for those that don't know, been in the locker room for over a decade with the Jaguars and spent a lot of time with Cam Robinson and spending time around him. And really, since he was a rookie, seeing what he's done, the Jacksonville Jaguars have given a lot into this relationship and a lot into this contract. And Cam Robinson has provided a lot, but has he provided a season? Can he get through an entire year? And that's been the issue. And then he's been injured, and he was injured again, and then he got suspended last year. And when he got suspended, you were kind of sitting here scratching your head going like, okay, this is finally a year where he's healthy, and he's still not starting at the beginning of the season. So the Cam Robinson conundrum is something that I hope that they figure out. I want Cam to have a full, successful, healthy year, and I want that for him more than anything, and I want it for the Jaguars because they've invested so much. Walker Little is obviously going to stay there. He could play guard. He could play tackle. Ezra Cleveland, who they brought in late, who was their third-string left tackle last year, he's been moved to guard. I would imagine he's going to stay. Keaton Sutherland, who they brought in, I think they might keep for some depth. Mitch Morse, as well as Luke Fortner, who they drafted last year and started right away out of Kentucky, a third-round draft pick. Brandon Sheriff at right guard. Blake Hance has been with the team for a minute. Tyler Shatley, they decided to keep him, who I thought has been an asset to the team because he's really been a guy who will play for you wherever you need him. He'll play at guard, he'll play at tackle, or guard and at center. They've been able to entrust him, and they haven't had to pay him that much. Javon Foster was drafted, the only offensive lineman they drafted this year, and Anton Harrison. So I would say feet to the fire: Harrison, Foster, Shatley, Hance, Sheriff, Morse, Fortner, Sutherland, Cleveland, Robinson, and Little. That's 11 guys. I would say there's also Cole Van Lanen here. I would say if they're going to keep 10, that maybe Blake Hance will go to the practice squad. But if I have, let's just say for argument's sake, 10 guys plus on the offensive line, 3 tight ends, so that's 13, and then 6 wide receivers, that's 19. 4 running backs puts me at 23, and at least 2 of the quarterbacks puts me at 25 as we're trying to figure out this 53-man roster. PJ, what do you have for the defense?
Okay, and we're pretty close with things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start with defensive linemen, and we know all these guys, so there's no surprises. I don't know about the drafts, but I got Mason Smith, Eric Armstead, Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris, and Jordan Jefferson. Those are the interior guys.
Yeah.
I like it. Robertson didn't have a massive dead cap number. He might be in trouble as well. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, but I like those 5 guys.
Yeah, and keep going with the defense. What else do you have there?
Okay. All right, I got edge rushers. I got 5 of those. I got Trevon Walker, who we know is going to be on one side. Tyler Lacey, Josh Hines Allen, who is the former Josh Allen, he's going to be on the other side. And Travis Gibson and DJ Coleman. Trevon Walker and Josh Allen are the studs. They're gonna raise havoc this year. I really feel it. All right, I got linebackers. I got 5. I got Devin Lloyd, Oyasad Oluwakan. I know how you do that. You do a good job with that. I can't do it too well.
Oh, Foye and Oluwakan, yeah.
Chad Muma, Ventrell Miller, and Caleb Johnson. Not a lot of surprises there either. I like Oluwakan in this situation. In the cornerbacks, I got 6. Dyson Campbell, Ronald Darby, Jerry Jones, Christian Braswell, Darnell Savage, DeAndre Prince. Don't know much about some of these other guys, but there's another guy, MON-FRI Brown, I think is mentioned here too. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Safeties, I got 4 of them. I got your man Andre Kisco, Antonio Johnson, Daniel Thomas, Terrell Edmonds. And I'll throw these guys in because we always know that Andrew Wingard is going to make the team somehow. I mean, this guy's everywhere. They play him that way.
Yeah.
It's good. They got Deshaun Gibson, who they just got. I don't know why, but it's obviously Gibson was brought in to give some of the younger guys a wake-up call. Especially if the way it was he plays a safety. I mean, if Antonio Johnson ain't doing it, Deshaun Gibson can step right in. And Andrew Wingard is in a lot of plays on certain avenues. He's not a full-time, but he's there a lot, and I like him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Go ahead, PJ. What were you going to say?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, man, Andrew Wingard, Dewey, as he's called, Dewey's been great. Dewey's a hell of a player. If you've watched the team in the last 2 years and you've seen what they've done, he has shown up huge in crunch time situations, big time games, down to the wire games, who's going to win this game in the final seconds type of games. And so Dewey's done an incredible job. Andre Cisco, I covered him at Syracuse the whole time that he was there. Just saw him at the spring game, got to spend some time with him. Him and I thought we'd be talking in the locker room. Hopefully we get a chance to talk no matter what. And, because those relationships are important to me. And I think it's important to keep relationships going no matter what happens. And some people don't believe in having relationships or building relationships. But, there are people that are smarter and better that have held positions before that understand that. Andre Cisco, Darnell Savage, Dewey, Antonio Johnson. If I'm going to start in the back line when it comes to the secondary, I'm going to say those 4 guys. They brought in Savage and Ronald Darby for a reason, so that's 5 there with Darby. And Monteric Brown, they went and got Brown in the draft, late in the draft a couple of years ago, and I intend to see him continue on here. So that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DBs. I'm going to throw Tayshaun Gibson in there, 7, and man, this is tough. I'm going to say there's a lot of guys because Daniel Thomas has had some time there. Terrell Edmonds is there as well. Trey Flowers, Tavon Campbell. They might have 10 guys here on the back line. And then looking at Foye Oluokun, of course, they extended him this year before they extended Trevor. Devin Lloyd and Yasir Abdullah, Chad Muma. I'm imagining these guys who have had time. Caleb Johnson has as well, and Ventrell Miller. But I think Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, Yasir Abdullah, Chad Muma. So that gives me 4 guys at least at linebacker. So that's 14 on the defensive side of the ball. I have Eric Armstead, Roy Robertson, Harris, Mason Smith, who they drafted out of LSU. So that's going to give me 17. Devon Hamilton on the defensive line, 18. Trayvon Walker, 19. Josh Hines Allen, 20. Miles Cole, who they drafted, I think that could be 21. So what do I have? So I have 25 plus 21 puts me at 46. And going into, so I'm probably going to add a few more guys in here, but going into special teams, let's count up these guys on special teams. Some of these guys, obviously the kick returner, punt returner, we've already named them. Devin Duvernay, maybe Parker Washington, Tank Bigsby. So those guys are out of it because we've already named them. They're not going to take up 2 spots. So I'm at 46, PJ. We got to get to 53. I got 7 more spots. So let's go to special teams here. What do you have for special teams?
You got Cam Little, Russ Medisick, and Logan Cook. That hasn't changed at all. And Cam Little continuing to look good. I mean, he got the goods. So I look for that. That'll give you more. I thought that you would have more defensive backs than that. I know there's some guys that could really come in. Maybe Deontay Prince, Monteric Brown. These guys are on the outside looking in. So a couple of them may stick, a couple of them may not. So someone, like you said, some will go to the taxi squad. There's nothing wrong with that either. But I got to have Wingard in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But for the special, that's all we got.
Yeah.
Three guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Devon DeNore, if he's gonna handle the kickoffs and punts, we could add him in there, even though we got him up as a running back.
Yeah, I think, outside of kick return, punt return, which Devin Duvernay, I'm confident is going to be back there. It's what I thought when they brought him in. Obviously, at punter, Logan Cook's been there forever. Cam Little is a kicker that they believe in. They brought back Riley Patterson, and they let him go. So they're believing in the guy that they drafted, who is Cam Little. And Ross Matisic here, their long snapper's been there for a minute. So that's three guys, specialists, not counting anybody twice. So if I'm at 46, that puts me at 49. I got to get to 53. And the reason why I'm going to do it this way is I wanted to make sure I didn't get to 53 beforehand so I could go in and fill in some of these cracks. So filling in some of these cracks here, I'm going to say, I already mentioned Darby, Brown, as well as Cisco, Antonio Johnson, Savage, and Dewey being on this team. I said 10, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I said maybe a Trey Flowers, 7, Tavon Campbell, 8, Daniel Thomas, 9, Terrell Edmonds, 10, Tayshaun Gibson, 11. So that gives me 3 more spots to go to here. They drafted Jerrion Jones, so they're going to keep him. Forgot to mention him. So that gives me Jerrion Jones out of Florida State. They like taking guys out of Florida, go Gators, Florida State, as well as UCF. So they do like to keep Florida guys in Florida. And so that gives me 2 more spots to fill in here. And I'm going to say 2 more spots to fill in. They don't have a lot of linebackers, and because I know that they've moved these edge guys, these guys that can play either on the defensive line on the edge or at outside linebacker, that they move those guys forward as they're going to have 4 sets of hands in the dirt now. So I guess I'll go there for the last 2 spots. I said Mason Smith, Roy Robertson Harris, Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, the former Josh Allen, now Hines Allen, and Devon Hamilton. I said Miles Cole, maybe Ledbetter and Speak. So I'll give a couple more spots to the defensive line to shore up my 53-man roster. So that's how I'm going to look at it here. I got a bunch of defensive backs. They could keep another guy on here. They could keep Hallett. They could keep Prince that you mentioned. They could keep Proctor. But I got a bunch of guys there on the defensive line. There's not a ton of linebackers to pick from. The main ones are Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluwakin with Chad Muma and Yasir Abdullah. So, I mean, I can either put Caleb Johnson on the 53-man roster at linebacker or and one other defensive lineman, or I could put 2 D linemen. I'm going to lean on the defensive line side, say Caleb Johnson makes it to the practice squad, and that's how I'm going to fill it out. I've got 4 running backs, 2 quarterbacks at least. I have 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, a bunch of offensive linemen, and that's how I'm going to shore this up, PJ. I'm going to say that these final spots come down to a Miles Cole or a Jeremiah Ledbetter. They brought in Breland Speaks on the defensive line from the UFL, the United Football League, which is a combination of the XFL and the USFL, and they're reimagining. So that's where I'm going to go, PJ. I'm going to say in this 53-man roster, as they cut it down, that my last couple spots are going to go to either a linebacker and a D lineman or 2 D linemen.
Oh, yeah, they need all that. Nothing's ever cut and dry, but we know the players from years of playing. We know the ones that are going to play. And we know the Wingard's going to make the team somehow. So wherever they put him, I don't know where they do that, but there's going to be some rookies in there that maybe take a job here or there. So we may have to revisit this thing in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we definitely will, and we will do that as always, PJ. I thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the work that we've done. I know it doesn't go unnoticed with our listeners and our viewers of how much we cover the Jaguars throughout the entire year, pretty much, if not 52 weeks of the year, then somewhere around 49 or 50. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for everything that we put in, and we'll continue to cover this Jaguars team no matter what, and we'll continue to do God's work above all things. So thank you for all that you do, PJ. I appreciate it.
Good job. See
right.
you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.